I'm up in heaven tonight, watching the stars in your eyes. Feels like I'm touching the sky. Can we stay here forever? The sun's coming up, we're coming down. Time waits for no one, no one. There's only us, there's only now. So stay in the moment before it's gone. Let's do something we'll never forget. Live a life that we won't ever regret. Hold me closer before the night ends, 'cause this moment is as good Some people live in the past and they stay there forever. The sun's coming up.
I think it's summer, it's some people. Kids going back to school.
I know. Okay, well, let's do a couple introductions to new agents here, not new to the business. Okay, Nico. Wave to everyone, Nico. He joined us from Harnish and said he told me there was a 2% chance he would join us. I said, awesome. Here he is. 2%. And we're happy he's here.
The 2%'s right next to him.
And then Grace Geiger. Welcome, Grace. Grace and she joined Jenny's team. So we are so happy that you're both here. Good additions, good people. Everything's great. And Danny, let's introduce Danny, just joined Waldman and James as an admin. Operations manager. I'm sorry, operations manager. We're happy you're here. And then Leslie, come on up. Oh, you good timing. Dwight said, no, have Leslie sit up here. I said, okay.
Ever lead the meeting?
I know.
I'll leave.
I know. We can go. So this is Leslie Hilbert. For those of you that don't know, she is our Keller Williams International Regional Director. So
of where? What's our region?
Our region is Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska. So round of applause. Welcome to Leslie.
Okay.
And she's been going around visiting all the different market centers. So she's spending the day with us. And she lives in the Portland area and has been around Keller Williams forever, right? Forever. 27 years in the business and lots of different roles. And anything you want to say?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys for welcoming me today. I'm coming in hot, obviously, for the regional call. So yeah, 5,513 agents in the Northwest region.
Cool.
So 35 market centers. So it's such an honor to be here with you. Been at Keller Williams since 2012, done just about everything you can think of about along the way. Started as the receptionist at the front desk. But one of the reasons I love coming into rooms just like this is that I've had an opportunity to learn and grow from so many incredible agents along my journey. So like, this is my opportunity to give back. And so my hope is that I can learn from you guys today and hopefully like give back a little as well. So I'm really just here to kind of see what you guys got going on and see what your superpowers are and see what I can do to help support.
Yeah, and meet our awesome agents. So yay. Okay. Let's talk about what we have going on this week. On Thursday, Joe is teaching contract mastery. Joe, tell everyone about it.
Yes, 10 to 12 agents that haven't done 3 deals or less, or have done 3 or less. We would like to see you at this class, and we go over the residential sale agreement, page by page, section by section, and just have a nice little loose conversation and some scenarios and things like that. It's a good open forum, but we highly advise you if you need some experience or update on that form to join me for a couple hours on Thursday.
Yes, and there's no registration.
You just come. So I like your new headshot.
I'm sorry?
I like your new headshot. Yeah. You know, soon we're all gonna be doing, that should be all our headshots.
We're gonna, I think a statuette, a headless one, everybody can put the shoes in.
Yeah, you can have one where you can just put your face. We can do that, guys.
Okay, then next week on Tuesday, immediately after the meeting, we're gonna have our monthly agent mastermind. We took a little pause on that for the summer, but we are back, led by Jenny Hill, our ALC. Jenny, what is it going to be on? Or do we know yet? We don't know yet. Okay, if you have ideas, ping Jenny, but otherwise, this is your time to share ideas with each other and mastermind together. Anyone can plug it in.
Yeah, no, it's not me teaching a class. It's Agents Town. We, I will come up with a really compelling topic for us to mastermind about with it. And then we're gonna break into groups, mastermind, and then come back together and share ideas and takeaways. So it's really fun, it's enriching, it's a great way to get to know people in the office, learn from people, different walks of their career.
Perfect. And you don't have to sign if you just come or stay next Tuesday after the meeting in this room. And then next week, our CE class is taught by Tim Cook, a structural consultant by Northwest Seismic, and it's Understanding Seismic Retrofitting, sponsored by First American Titles. So should be a good class. If you don't know a lot about that, that would be a great topic to attend. So register for your certificate for lunch, and that is a week from tomorrow. And then, backed by popular demand. Seller financing with Dwight. It's not till September, but we wanted to just put it out there because we've been getting more and more questions about seller financing.
Yes, with rates going up, in fact, I'm going to work a little bit later because you have the seller that's curious. Second, which is seller financing. And part of my class is to show you how to do calculations so you can have the conversation for rates of returns on the second and how it affects everybody. So, and then taxes as well. This is basically the one I did a few years ago, and then the rates dropped and it didn't become a part of the conversation anymore. But now with rates, average rates probably at 7.25 still, I'm guessing. It's back, and depending on what happens, we'll continue to talk about it into the fall.
If I can add, I've seen a little bit of uptick in seller carry contracts coming across my desk. So another great option for your seller in a kind of a stagnant market, if they feel like they're in a stagnant position, another option to open up potential sale.
Yeah, and I talk about what that looks like if you carry a contract, especially if you have an underlying loan, and what the complications are. So it's pretty thorough. I taught it to the Central Oregon Top 100. I taught it to the Central Oregon Market Center, and then we taught it here a couple of times.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. I mean, I got a million questions because we haven't had to talk about it in most of your careers, right? So
Yeah, so that'll be a good class. And no sign up, you just show up Thursday, September 17th, 11 to 12. Kev.
correct. Yeah, we have a generation of people and sellers do not even have any idea how it works.
And so part of the resilience that the denial of that is like, well, I don't know how that works. So people will say no right off the bat. And if you can teach them how to do it.
Yeah, that's a very good point because that's exactly what happened in the 80s. We'd throw it out and people would say, no, I'm not going to do that. But if you could walk them through, then all of a sudden, if they saw the returns, they'd say, wait, okay, this looks really good. And that's part of the conversation to get people to the finish line. So that's a very good point because it's very true, especially today.
Exactly.
When you operate it, there's an immediate no, because they don't know how it works. They don't know how they're going to get paid or anything like that.
There's a number of documents in ORF too, which are ORF library on seller carry, there's like disclosures and introduction to that. That might be a good reading material before you do this class, just to get some of the terminology down a little bit, kind of what the landscape looks like prior to Dwight's class.
Yeah, and to your point, Kevin, back when we used to do these in the 80s and 90s, I can't even remember how many times I actually had to say to the listing agent, I have a buyer, this is what they want to do, is your seller open and letting me present it to them.
Yeah.
Because the listing agent had no idea how to speak to it with their client. And so we would get together and I would present it to their seller, and same time I would bring my offer and I would say, here's the pros, here's the cons. I was very neutral about it. And then they would say, yeah, absolutely, let's do this because look how much money I'm making. So yeah, I go over this in the class, and I'm gonna, as long as the rates stay up, I'm gonna probably do it once a month here through the end of the year. So you should come because guess what? If you're not good with math, you're gonna want to see it a couple times. Make sure it flows. It's not hard math at all, but if you're not used to it, it won't be quick.
I just did that with a buyer, just to exactly what you just said. We didn't qualify for land financing in Central Oregon. It was a very difficult deal, but I got educated with the help of Joe through the whole process. So it's exactly that. We just asked if the seller would do seller credit financing, and he did.
And when that closes and you get paid, you'll feel really good.
But we did. I feel great. Yeah, I feel much better now.
Okay, come to the class. Then, that same week on Friday, we're doing our capper appreciation.
So invites will go out this week for this if you qualify, but we want to celebrate everyone, all of our capping agents, and just do something special. So more details on that, but it's going to be Friday afternoon, evening, September 18th at Tumwater. And then book club hosted by Kevin and Laura of the ALC. We're going to read Unreasonable Hospitality. So we're announcing it now. You sign up, get you the books next week and then the whole book by September 29th. Kev, do you want to share anything why you guys chose this book? Anything, any insight?
This book is an amazing book for customer service, going above and beyond for your clients. It talks about a restaurant. Bogadero is a restaurateur who had the #1 restaurant in the world for, I believe, 5 years running. And his process to get there and the things that they did were amazing. And I think that it applies to all customer service. Just in general, it's really simple things that you can do for clients that other people do not do, that are unexpected, a surprise to them, and it really goes a long way in your business.
I love it. So if you sign up, we'll get you a book. Laura also said that the Audible is a great listen
I
as
think
well.
you can get it on the phone.
For spot. Okay, great. So check that out and hope to see lots of you guys who read the book or listen to the book. Okay, then don't forget to keep submitting your haves and wants online. Don't have any this week, but just keep submitting them and we'll keep sharing those weekly. And then a reminder to keep donating for Spokane. Leslie brought up a great point this morning that, after they get a lot of support right out of the gate, but then as time goes on, they're still suffering with a lot of the loss of homes and life, everything you own. So keep donating. This is our campaign within our region, so it's really easy. There's a Venmo and a PayPal link, and even $10 helps. I know, and thank you. I know a lot of you guys have already donated. Hey, hi, lady. Tell us about blending. Our front ladies.
Yes. Well, as you can see, the 30-year conventional par is below 7 now. That was really nice.
That looks good. That looks good.
Right? Interestingly enough, though, the FHA kind of stayed par or is actually a little bit above where we were last week. Oil prices kind of came down a little bit. So, we're still, all this is going to be a reflection of the market and inflation and oil prices and everything that's going on in the Middle East. So that's a good thing that was kind of shimmying down just a little bit. I do think that home prices actually still continue to rise like 2% over, I think that was the headline that I read. And then, home starts like for building and stuff is a little bit behind, but I think that it has to do with more permitting than actual like building or other types of issues. We're also gonna be teaching another class on the 19th of September, 18th or 19th, that Wednesday. But we kind of want some of your guys' input on what you want us to teach next. We had an idea to do, how do help you guys overcome like your top sales like objections, like whether somebody thinks that they don't make enough money or they don't have a down payment, and kind of building something around that. So if you guys have any suggestions or something that you want to learn about, please just let us know. And 1.0 buy downs for 25 basis points. I've talked about this every single week. Those are still going through the end of August. So if you do get anybody in contract who would like to kind of go for that, as long as we lock them by August 31st, then they're good to go.
Okay, so one more week of that. That's
One more
a great
week.
offer
Yeah.
for sellers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Kylie. Okay, so Dwight. Dwight has 50 slides. And they're so good. He's gonna condense you down to talk about what's going on right now. But I said, let's just push this till next week and you could talk about it the whole time. I won't have to rush you when you can have all kinds of all the slides you want.
Yeah, and she won't be here to listen to me, so.
So I think he's gonna do 3, we're gonna do 3 slides today.
I don't know, like 3 or 4. So, rates have gone down a little bit. Does anyone know what's happening that could cause them to go down a little bit? Is anyone following it?
Fed is buying.
Yeah.
Fed's buying bonds is definitely one reason. There are more than one reason, but I have some teaser slides. So when the rates went up, the 30-year treasury hit the highest yield since 2007. What happened in 2008? That has been scaring the investors of the world, right? They worry about what is happening in the United States with rates rising and what the potential fallout could be. So simultaneously, we just broke 40 trillion in US debt in the last 2 weeks. Like, this is all happening at the same time. And by the way, September, which we are rolling into, happens to be the worst month for the stock market in US history. So if something's going to happen, it tends to happen in September. And so I decided it was probably good timing to have a conversation about what's happening economically in case something happens. You can talk to your clients about it, keep them calm and moving forward. And is there one more?
There's 3 more.
3 more. Okay. So this is part of why people are concerned. This, I think, is US debt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the US debt. That's that 40 trillion. You can see how fast it's now going up compared to early in the early decades. And go ahead and do the next slide. One of the other reasons rates have gone up is the hyperscalers who are building AI data centers are sucking up all the capital of the world. They're building data centers as fast as they can get them approved across the country because their goal is to have the best AI in the world. And they need chips, and they need factories, and they need power, and they need water, we hear, and all kinds of things. And if you look at this, in 2026, Amazon is expected to spend 200 billion, Alphabet nearly 200 billion, Microsoft nearly 200 billion, and Meta 100 billion. These are for AI related construction. And so they're competing with the US Treasury because some of them have used cash. Now they're selling bonds to raise money to build these. And they're competing with the US in a huge way. And that has been driving this one. Another factor, rates have been going up. So one more slide. And this is what a couple of you alluded to. So because this is happening, the Treasury started getting a little bit worried too. And so the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, made an announcement last week that the Treasury was going to start selling more short-term treasuries and fewer long-term treasuries. So they're going to work on financing all of the US debt with short-term treasuries at lower rates and take pressure off having to sell 30-year bonds and compete with hyperscalers and other countries that also are facing cash crunches. The result of it was rates were going up, and then Scott made an announcement and rates dropped. 30-year rates dropped, and they've been drifting lower. So I have about 25 of these to have a long conversation, and we'll do it next week. So if you have some people that start to get nervous about this stuff, you can talk to them and say, hey, I'm familiar with this topic, and here's why you need to stay the course and do what you're doing.
And you feel like overall it's gonna be positive for.
Well, the slides I didn't get to go also paint a really good picture of other things that are very positive right now.
I said this with love because I know you guys love hearing from Dwight and seeing all these slides. I didn't want to do it rushed, right? I want you to be able to go through all of them. So hopefully this makes you want to hear more.
Next week.
Did. So all slides, uncondensed version next week. It's gonna be great. So thanks. And then Kevin or Bradley, first minute.
Going for a new hedge talk today, guys. So we are starting trends. So we might see Joe like this next. Maybe twice. Maybe we can get Kareem maybe in one of these. All right. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about referrals to the commercial team. We've been talking about specialties. I want to give you guys kind of two real scenarios that have happened recently to kind of showcase like what happens when you give us a referral. So the big thing is, do I have a clicker? There we go. So think of Cameron or I as more like a switchboard. So if you guys have some sort of commercial deal, something that you're looking at that you're like, maybe I'm unsure what this might be, give us a call, give me a call particularly, and think of me like, does everybody know what a switchboard is? I told my wife, I'm like, it's the only one in this room that like probably. Please, you're calling this person. Okay. So we just take the call in, and what we do
is we get an address, maybe some sort of property description, and then we go out and do the research, and then we figure out, hey, who would this work for, right? So here's two real life scenarios that we actually just got. One we got last week. You want to move on to the next one? Okay, so we had an agent in our office. She gave me a call, and there were two things that she wanted to do with this client. One, and it was an exchange, right? So, and she didn't know what that property was that he was going to sell, and she also didn't know what the property was that he was going to buy. She just had an address for the first one and kind of a general area on the second one. Okay, so we looked it up. We did a little bit of research. It turned out to be a car lot. Okay, and the next one was going to be a retail center. And so I don't do car lots. Can't do a car lot. Probably not very interested in it. But Bradley in the back is the car lot man and has sold some of these car lots, and I've known that. And so I said, hey, this is good for Bradley. Give him a text and go from there. Okay. So what that turns into is she has two calls. One comes from the client, who is a long-term client. I think this person hadn't talked to this client for about 10 years. She sold a house to them, but she is like the trusted advisor in the real estate for him, right? She helped him. He really liked her. It was a whole thing. And so he only trusts her. And so she gave us a call, explained that to us. And I was like, great, we'll take care of him. Here's how we're going to do it. And then we got into conversations about referral fees. Referral fees are negotiable like every other thing. There's no standard referral fee. And a lot of that comes from us looking at a property beforehand and saying like, hey, this is going to be a ton of work, or yeah, we're good with this, that kind of thing, right? So move on to the next slide. We'll show the numbers on this. So in total, it would be about $3 million of real estate sold and bought. The first one was going to be about $750. The next one was about 2.25. Okay. So let's just say we're not, and all commissions are negotiable, right? Region is here, so we can't. So in this particular deal, it would have been done for 2.5. Okay. So that's $75,000. And on this one, on this particular deal, not standard rate, this was a 25% referral fee. Okay. On average, guys, our office, the average sales price is $574. Okay. So that is a referral fee that is larger than an average sales price in the market
Of a home.
of a home. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. This is a different one. This one we got referred to. It was an RV park. It was a purchase. And once again, we got the information, we ran through the numbers, and it turns out like it just wasn't gonna work. Like the numbers weren't gonna work. And I think a lot of residential agents are scared that now the client is gonna be taken away from them, right? If you give it to us and then we're just gonna run with it and not do anything. Or we're gonna take them and just buy real estate, even if it's residential. This is not the case. So this RV park did not work. Okay. So what our agent did was called the agent and said, hey, this isn't going to work, but here has what I've seen work in the past. Buy a house that already has something licensed for an RV and do it that way. And here's your client back to you. Go do that now. Okay. Now it's a residential sale. And we are not in the business of stealing clients. Okay. So we want you to understand that your clients are protected. They're your clients with our relation. It's your relationship, but we're doing a transaction and we're moving forward on the commercial side. We don't have anything to do with the residential side. Okay.
I
So
love that. Those are two great examples.
yeah.
So on the previous example where the agent that had the client earned the $18,000 commission, how much work did they have to do?
2 phone calls.
2 phone calls.
Legitimately 2 phone calls. One from the client. Hey, I have this property I'd like to sell. Can you give me an address? Okay. Takes that address, gives me a call. I take that address, I figure out what it is, and then figure out who it needs to go to. And then I guess there should be 3 steps. And then a text message to that agent. And all it said
Well,
was
that changes.
$18,000 looked way worse now. Okay. So yeah, so it was 3 steps essentially. Okay. A handoff from them to the new agent. Okay. And so it's not complicated. If it looks like resident, if it looks like commercial, acts like commercial, give us a call. If you're confused, give us a call. We're here to educate and help. I actually had to educate my wife what a switchboard was. I showed her this, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I mean, I've never used one, but Dwight knows. So
You said to your wife, just what I do with the office.
yeah, like I make AI images of myself. She was like, "What is wrong with you?"
It's not our office switchboard.
You guys have any questions, concerns?
So in that,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, you want to go back to it?
You.
Yeah. Huh?
And then you do your research, do you call the client or you say, this is for Bradley? And then you tell the agent, hey, I'm gonna have Bradley call you.
Yeah. So one of the easier ways that we found is for me to then tell you, hey, take this to Bradley after doing all the research. Take it to Bradley. Take it to Lake. Take it to Nat.
So
Right.
The client only hears someone.
Essentially, yeah. I don't want to be a middleman. I want to be a middleman for you guys so that you guys understand. We went through and introduced all the asset classes that we represent. That doesn't mean you guys memorized it. And so it's easier, like as the co-managing director, it's just easier to just come to me and then I just hand it off to them. Right. So I will just tell you, hey, go to this person. And then that way you look like you have the relationship.
Kevin, I got a good question.
Yes.
Can I be involved in any part of this process? Can I shadow to educate myself if I'm new in this world of commercial?
We've had lots of conversations of that.
Commercial policy manual, I'm just kidding.
Per the commercial policy manual, you have to be a member of commercial, KW commercial. I would say this, it sounds really nice to say that. And in the end, like you guys are all really busy and we're all really busy. And so it doesn't work out the way that you think it's gonna work out.
And I'm gonna chime in here. If you are serious about wanting to learn
Yeah.
commercial, that's a different conversation that we have, and then you start shadowing and
Yeah.
do that. So it's part of the big.
That was
Because I did want to
That was a good setup.
Because I referred one to Cam before I was in KW commercial officially, and it was a lease. And I was like, hey, I want to learn about this. Can I get it? Just didn't work. Yeah. It just wasn't what everybody thought it was.
It is more work, not in a bad way, on the commercial agents and like to truly mentor someone. We want that to be real holistic. We want our commercial agents and our commercial.
Intentional, not just like I have this one deal.
Yep.
Good setup.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I want to add to that too.
Yes.
This is good. First of all, shout out to you on the $100 bill. I don't know if everybody saw that. Recently, that was a good. Look at that. Incredible. Incredible. I just want to add too, with regard to referrals, think of the commercial team as an extension of your team. Right? Just that alone, you can really, because we get a lot of inquiries from various people, and if you're already their advisor, they're looking at you, they're trusting you already. So if there's something outside of your scope, just know that we're here to support you and keep your clients happy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nat.
We look at it like a revenue source for you guys, because if it's not, then you guys have to go outside of the office or maybe even not do it. And so we are here to bring you guys more revenue.
Okay, and then we're gonna invite up.
Veronica, yes. Jennifer, Emily, and Jenny. To share their specific mega camp takeaways. Session. So how many of you guys, let's do a shout out to Cole, who got up early to record Gary at 6 a.m. so that we could play it for our meeting. Actually, how many of you guys watched Gary here and then watched them and did it live stream the next day? Awesome. Okay. It was all so good. It was such a great experience. Okay, ladies, take it away. Who wants to go first? Take it away.
Oh, how convenient. Okay, who here has never ever been to mega camp and has no clue what it really feels like, looks like? Okay. How many of you who raised your hands have actually been to family reunion? And again, it's okay if you haven't. Okay. So mega camp is a different feel and vibe. It's smaller. There's less running backwards and forwards to breakouts, which I actually find quite nice as our venues are getting larger and larger. I also feel that, and I've been to 8 or 9 of them. I don't know. I've lost count. I feel like you have an opportunity to really go to that 201, 301, 401 level when you go to mega camp and truly hone in on what is really important to you. Also, more opportunity to develop and deepen relationships with agents who run a similar business to you. So that's kind
I
of,
love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that
agreed.
baseline.
I'm the high C in the group. I have spreadsheets. I have so many notes. So I will let others speak
Okay,
before.
I'm gonna start with you, Emily. This is your first mega camp.
Yes.
You and Ronnie with your first mega camp. So tell everyone what are some of your takeaways?
Yeah. So I went into mega camp just wanting to walk away with a few things that I can implement into my business, into processes that I'm already doing. I think when we go to an event like this, it's really easy for us to get excited and get inspired, and we come home and just want to implement everything and reinvent the wheel. And I didn't want to do that. And so, a couple of the speakers, they talked about working with sellers and listings. And what I noticed about all these very successful agents is they're not afraid to tell their clients, this is what I'm going to do. This is why we're going to do this. And it made me reflect on my conversations with my clients in my own business. And I think that that's something that I can improve on. So, I think sometimes I go into a consultation and I know what to do. I know how to get a home ready, and I know how to make it show well and to have a good and smooth transaction. But I lay out my process, and then they want to make changes, and I allow them to do that. And I think I need to be more firm about just sticking to my guns on, like, this is what we're going to do and why. This is a proven method, and just being a little more firm on those things.
Yeah, the listing speakers, the agents were really good. There was like Pete Ruiz and Sarah Reynolds. And one of the things that Pete said was prep slow, sell fast.
Yeah.
But that's all like is a more firm conversation.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
That's great. Keep going.
I think too, there's a difference between being client focused and being client led. Like, we have a fiduciary responsibility to fulfill our clients' wishes, but at the same time, they're leaning on us for guidance and they want us to tell them what to do. That's why they're hiring us. And they won't directly say that. And it can kind of be an uncomfortable conversation sometimes to have to be direct like that. But it's really important to set that expectation from the beginning.
Love it. You want to say another one, or should we bounce around?
One other thing that they talked about, and I think these are kind of one and the same, but just having the harder conversations up front in your listing appointments. So especially surrounding price. And I know Dwight's talked about this, like solidifying a game plan of what you're going to do next if the market doesn't respond the way that you want it to. And putting that game plan in writing in your listing contract and kind of laying that out. And there's that statistic. I think it's, if you're getting showings, but you're not getting any offers, you're likely 1 to 2% overpriced. If you're not getting any activity, then it's 3 to 6. And I think it's important to show those numbers to your seller, especially if you think that they might be wanting a number more than what the market's supporting, and then
Showing
having
that up front.
yeah, and having that game plan. One of the speakers said that he asks his clients that are in that position, do you want to position yourself to negotiate up, or do you want to position yourself to negotiate down? And I think that's really important.
Great question.
Yeah.
I love that. Wait, Veronica, I see you have some notes on those.
No, it's just the exact
Yeah,
thing.
share that, share those.
So saying 1 to 2, then 3 to 5, but if you're not getting any showings at all, you're 6 to 10% overpriced. And our job is not to defend yesterday's market value. It's to listen to what today's buyers are telling us. And Gary just kept saying, sold is old. That's old data. And
for your like when you're looking at comps.
Right.
Like the market is changing
Yeah.
so fast. But wait, say that again. So if you are getting showings but no offers, you're an estimated 3 to 5% over. And if you're getting no showings at all, you're 6 to 10% overestimated.
Emily and I talked about that afterwards.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like that's extreme.
Okay.
I like Peter has always said if you have activity but no offers in that first couple weeks, you're like 1 to 3%. And then if there's nothing, no activity, no showings, then it's like 3 to 5%.
Yeah, and every market.
I felt
And
like
this is national level.
yeah,
They're talking.
it depends on the market. I just can't imagine going in like we got to drop the price 10%. Like that's
scary to
extreme.
people.
Yeah.
Right.
But to have it up front, that
Yeah.
conversation before
For
you're
sure.
stuck
That's the-
in sitting on the market for 102 days, which
That's the
I just did
important
this
part.
morning.
And to put some metrics around it to your clients because they can understand that a
Yeah.
little bit clearer.
Yeah,
Right.
real numbers.
Okay, wait, Veronica, what else? Yeah.
Oh, Melanie.
So sold is old, you're basing that list price on sold data. So then you're having a conversation, say this is what the data we have in front of us right now. It can be a micro market, might be changing. Is that kind of how it would look then when you're talking about that up front?
And we're talking from a national level too. I mean, Gary just went on to say buyers are shopping actives, not solds, and that's just a strong quotable takeaway of the positions you just
using
setting up the
actives as your comp.
expectations.
Because that's what's the alternatives.
I think the idea is that if you're in a declining market, you need to be pricing ahead of the sold data, not at the sold data. You know,
Good question. Yeah. That's questions of our parents.
Yeah, I missed it. So
But
that's
then
it.
it's like on a micro level, you have to look at this.
I don't feel like we're in a dramatically declining market here, but in other parts of the country, they are. In other parts of the country, they're in like COVID conditions where there's multiple offers. And so it's a really interesting time.
Okay, do you want to share some more takeaways?
So this was my first mega camp as well. I had gone to 2 family reunions, which I love to death, but starting it with my maps coach, I got a free ticket and I love Texas. So I wanted to go and I am so glad I did because honestly, I loved this so much more. To me, it was easier as 55, hoofing it to all the things. And it was just, to me, it felt it nourished my soul. Just all the speakers, Simon Sinek, Phil Jones, wonderful, 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 wonderful. But my favorite part was when we got to break out and do those masterminds and talk to people. Like I was telling Jenny in the group, there was this guy in Pennsylvania. If it's on the market 14 days, it's stale. I mean, they are experiencing COVID conditions now because COVID was completely shut down for them. They were the last state to go out and sell again. So it was so great to sit at a table with 10 people from all across the nation, sharing their different ideas, sharing how they're handling these conversations. And what the best part I got out of that mastermind that I really enjoyed was just, talking about setting up the expectations up front and how to really ascertain the motivation of the seller. They'll tell you one thing, but it never is what it is, right? So just going 3 level deep in that conversation. Corrine says this all the time. Tell me more about that. Right? But that is such a wonderful, soft way to get them to continue talking. So you get their information, you find out what the emotion is behind it, and asking questions like, why is that important to you? What is important about that to you? And then just the meaning. What does this move? What does this mean to you? What is this going to mean to you and your family? And to be able to have that kind of conversation in a listing appointment with sometimes they're strangers, I think creates a connection and a bond where you're not talking at them, telling you, you're showing that you really, truly care. And it was just kind of these little nuggets. And like Jennifer was talking about the 101, the 201, I mean, it's just a continual way to refine your craft. And, we've been doing this a while and we shared stats that the last 4 years have been the hardest since the 1970s. So if you're in this room and you're making it, please do not give up, but please keep learning. I mean, like we all know, AI is changing our industry so much. And I just get so much value out of even just the podcast that Jason Abram does. I love to listen to when I'm driving around because I get nuggets from there. I mean, there's just always continue to learn, never stagnate. That's always been my passion, to be a lifelong student. And I just encourage any of you to go go to these things, but really go to our masterminds, because I try and go and support. Because every time I go, even though I've been doing this a while, I'll get some fresh new ideas from new agents that are trying new tech that I don't even know about, because you're so kind of laser focused on transactional stuff. So that's my TED Talk.
Those were
Thank you for
good
coming.
takeaways. And I love the focus on just like the true relationships with your
Yes.
clients. And I like that kind of as an overall sentiment of Mega Camp. It was, yes, using AI and technology and all these things, but like still having those human relationships and communications and not ever losing touch of that and the importance of that. So
yes,
balance of that. Good stuff, B. Hey, Jenny, you want to share some takeaways?
Yeah, so I'm the highest D in the room probably because I didn't take any notes, but because I was like, oh, I'm going to download all the slides from from KW Connect. I'm not a good note taker, but the slides that I really wanted to revisit, they haven't put in KW Connect yet, and that was from Gary's presentations on both days, and I went to this year's Mega Camp to hear Gary. I needed him to speak life into me because I have cumulative fatigue from the last 4 years, and it was worth it. It was so great. He talked on the first day about, I mean, it's all about personal development that obviously overflows into business, but like ego and fear and motivation and like heavy stuff. And it was really compelling. And the slides were amazing. So once we can download them, I think we should and like send them out to everybody.
Yeah, he said they will share that.
Yeah. And then the second day he talked about the difference between optimization versus scaling. And that was really good for me to hear too. Optimization is maxing out your circumstances with what you have in any area of your life. So whether that's health, relationships, business, spirituality, like how do you max out what you can do with what you have? And I think that's such a good lesson for us in real estate, no matter where we're at in our business, right? Like don't go out and spend all the money until you've maxed out like what you can do with what you have. After your first closing, don't go out and lease a Mercedes and sign up for every lead source. And then scaling is not about growing bigger necessarily. It's about setting yourself up for longevity. And I thought that was a really inspiring way to think about that, because I think so often in real estate specifically, it's like, okay, now we've done this. How do we like blow it up and do it at the biggest scale we can? And that's not necessarily appropriate or necessary for all of us. So highly recommend once those slides are available, and all the slides are on KW Connect from, so like all of these speakers, there's like a one sheet with all the key takeaways that they talked about. So I also really enjoyed talking about listings.
We'll probably dive deeper into some of those in like one of these meetings in the next couple of weeks, because there were so many good presentations specifically.
If you go just on the homepage at KW Connect, if you scroll down, it says Mega Camp, and you click on there and it has all of the slides, sheets from the different agents.
I also took pretty stuff myself. There's two. Good stuff, Jamie. And yeah, Gary was good. Okay, Jennifer.
Yes, so if anybody needs them, I have the entire transcript.
Oh, I know, very sweet. I should know her very over here.
And the audio.
And that's the other file.
I had all of those. This mega camp was a little different to all of the others that I attended, and it was based on feedback from agents who have attended in the past. What they did is they interspersed large sort of mega agent panels with experts in various fields, and most of those experts are not real estate experts. They are experts on, there was one gentleman, Cameron Harold, who talked about the COO role for team.
I love it.
Yeah.
So like having your right hand leader right with you in it, and then
Right. So many subject matter experts interspersed, which was fabulous. I didn't stay for some of the panels that you guys stayed for.
value from, because I'm just in a different headspace. And I think
that is something to take note of. Every mega camp or any Keller Williams event, you're going to go there because you're at a certain point in your physical, professional, I mean, you name it, and you're going to walk away with something different. So what I have, that they're totally different, but it was so important for me to be there, and I learned so much. There were times where I swear I could have left immediately and felt like every penny I'd spent was well spent, and those moments just kept repeating all the time. To have Gary go into full teaching mode, he hasn't done that for a while. And that was so nice. He pulled out a chair and he sat down and he spoke to us. And you can tell this is his passion. This is what he loves to do. So, I mean, hearing Gary from the heart, yeah, I think his speech about being fear fit, wealth building, all of it. Oh my gosh, yes, like check. Okay, taking that to heart. I did, and this is just a tip. If you're going to go to family reunion or mega camp, plan on being there a day earlier than you think you should be. There are a lot of networking events and workshops which are held before the official start of the events. So I got there on Saturday. I spent the entire Sunday with Lauren Lucas. And she is an AI guru. So she is a Keller Williams agent who, out of necessity, had to figure out how to keep their team going when they lost the majority of their team. And this was during COVID. So she adopted AI, and what she is doing is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm going to read a quote from her opening for that event. In under 2 years, I believe that an agent who doesn't have AI somewhere in their business is going to be equivalent to an agent today without a cell phone. That was really profound. So yeah, I one of my big implementations is implementing AI agents into what I do in my business. So I'm just having so much fun doing that. Another one, our keynote speaker, Simon Sinek. Oh my gosh, that was just like another one. I could listen to Simon Sinek talking all day long. And he did it in the form of an interview with Gary and Jason Abrams. And it really is, he talks about his why, and that when you know your why, you're living with purpose on purpose. And according to him, purpose isn't something we manufacture, it's something we discover and learn to articulate. Without clarity around our why, we can move through life almost by accident, occasionally feeling energized, fulfilled, and completely in flow, but without understanding what created it. When we can put our why into words, it becomes a filter for our choices, opportunities, relationships, and work. Instead of hoping to stumble into fulfillment, we can intentionally choose more of what aligns with who we are and the contribution we are here to make. He believes that your why is instilled in you by the age of 13. You just have to discover it. And you just have to discover it. So he's got some great books out of it. It's just, phenomenal. Yeah. And maybe I need to question everything I'm doing about.
Well, we talked a lot about just relationships in general, that it applies to so many facets of your life. But one part, we know a lot about friendships, but for business, we said, don't work with people that you don't enjoy working with, even if you think you can't afford it, like to afford to say no, right? Because there are all those like intangible things of like the energy and the like, what is that taking you away from? And I think that like in life, like you can kind of spend time with people that I don't want to, and doing things I don't want to, right? Because it's being intentional.
Right, and he's writing a book about friendship, so he's researching a lot about friendship and was able to share some of what he's working on. And it makes total sense. So, we need to take time to build relationships with people, everybody around us. And then that related to conversations that happened during the CEO summit about blue zones and why folks who live in the blue zones are living the healthy lifestyle. It's that sense of community, it's the relationships that really build,
everything makes more sense. And you have so much more purpose and so much more joy, like real joy, not temporary joy, when you get it.
It was very like fulfilling, like in the sense of like really did some like deep thinking about like relationships in life. It wasn't just like make more calls or like different things. It was very good. I don't know, it was very like nurturing. That's a great way to put it, right? And energizing, and I know our leadership team loves it when I come back with a million ideas. So many great things. But it was really inspiring. Good. Okay, what else? We probably have time for like one or two more nuggets from each of you guys. If you want to share anything else, I know look at what you have written down.
I kind of covered it all.
You did? Okay, that's cool. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
The gentleman that spoke about hiring your second in command. But I needed to hear that like so badly. So if you're thinking about hiring an admin or an operations person, go look through the slides that, what was his name?
Cameron Harold.
Cameron Harold. It was really good.
He was great. He's written a handful of books. He also spoke again at one of the leadership sections that I went to. And in that one, he spoke about really thinking about how you want your business to look and feel 3 years from now, and write that down as your vivid vision and like put it into it was really good. It's like thinking bigger.
There it is.
Yeah.
So good.
Good job. Cool. Yes, and that's where you can download everything.
Yeah, and then Leslie Owen, I definitely want to mention her. So her quote that I have done here is offline authority is wasted if it's invisible online.
Yes.
So the big takeaway is being great in the real world is no longer enough if Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and other AI systems can't correctly understand who you are, what you specialize in, and why you should be recommended. The new visibility strategy is database plus search plus AI. Your reputation now has to be understandable to AI. And she gave a great case study of somebody who runs an accounting firm, top of her field in San Antonio, been at the top for 40 years, but she's invisible. She is absolutely invisible.
Could if you ask AI who are the top
Yeah.
accountants, she doesn't come up.
Right. And again, I mean, we know that when you search an AI, not necessarily the best person is going to show up. The agents who are going to show up are the ones who are doing the work to show up. So, yeah.
And another thing about hers is that you have to, you guys might already know some of this, but you have to teach your website how to do search results from AI, not just for humans. And I'll give you an example of our brokerage website, right? We have these testimonials on it, but I ran it through Leslie's school. I don't even want to say that loud, but I got a 9 out of 100 for our like rankings for that. And it was like, it doesn't see that you have testimonials, because a human can see that we have testimonials, but we're not showing AI. Cole and I did some like rework on our website to be more visible, but like take that in your business too. Jenny's is better. Jenny's was like 4.
Yeah.
Right, but that I was like, oh, everybody probably gets like 9. I know. It's like funnel.
Does AI want video? Is that what I'm understanding or not?
Use them to tell it in different ways, and that's a
Multiple.
whole nother.
Look, watch the
But
thing.
just because you have words and stuff, humans can see that, but AI cannot see that
Yeah.
all the same. So you have to redo your online presence for AI.
And then one from Amy Porterfield, who was one of the CEOs, because if it doesn't feed your database, it's a waste of your time. So followers, views, and engagement are rented attention. The business value comes when social media creates a bridge into an audience you own and can continue building relationships with. Content should have a job beyond getting likes. So being intentional. I mean, knowing your audience. I mean, there was somebody else who said the riches are in the niches. So you've got to really figure out who your ideal client avatar is. And when you're new, that's going to take time to develop. So don't, like, I mean, honestly, it's taken me a while to figure out who I am best serving. Because again, it's your purpose. It goes back to who you feel
the most joy when you're helping, because we're all here to help people. But it's really understanding that and then tailoring everything that you're doing to that niche. Because, yeah, you don't talk to everybody. You're like talking in a bag. And your people. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. I love it. Over there too. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Now, guys, great day.
Yeah.